OK, guys, welcome back to the show. I want everyone in the audience, please give a warm welcome to Amanda Tabberer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Look, let's start at the start. Now, of course, everyone knows your mother is Maggie, very, very iconic Australian. But let's start at the start. How did you grow up and where did you find your love for Italian food?
Well, my stepfather was Italian, the man that Maggie married, the second husband, who was the love of my life, and you'll read about that in the first chapter of this cookbook.
Yes, this new cookbook that's just come out.
Yes, and the great affection I had for Pros, who was, you know, very affectionately known by the family members.
Yep.
He was my stepfather, and he had one of the first Italian restaurants in Australia.
Really? I didn't know
called
that.
Called the Buonasera in King's Cross. And that's where I grew up, sitting on a molasses can behind the coffee machine, stuffing my face with fried oysters and fried potatoes. OK,
so you really had no chance. You're always going to be a fan of Italian food.
In love with Italian food from scratch. I didn't have a hope in hell.
That's a really, really nice way to grow. I like that story a lot.
Yeah.
OK, so tell me this. You move into fashion, obviously, follow your mother's influence.
Every step of the way.
Into fashion.
A little bit Freudian.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention it. I'm glad you've brought it up. No, OK, so you follow your mother into fashion and then something draws you overseas and to follow food. Tell me those steps.
Well, I actually went to live in France first because I was originally in fashion, and then after France I came back here for 4 years and worked for Maggie. Then I went to Italy because by that time she was married to the Italian who'd become the love of my life, stepfather.
Yep.
And I went to live in Italy and I ended up working in fashion in Florence and Milan for a couple of years.
OK.
And then there was this drama with all these planes being shot out of the sky and all this terrorism, and none of us wanted to go on holidays to another country in Europe.
Fair enough.
We had to stay in our own country. So we got the little car and we drove south knowing that there was this jewel of a place called the Amalfi Coast. And that's where I met my partner, who just happened to be an Italian restaurateur. Hello.
So he's an Italian restaurateur?
The story gets more Freudian.
That's incredible. So you grow up in an Italian restaurant and your partner...
Insane.
I like that. I like that a lot.
All connected.
So how long did you spend on the Amalfi Coast?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
So you would know the food back to front, all the people, everything like that.
I've eaten in every kitchen along that Amalfi, all 13 villages. I have stuffed my face.
Really? Now, did you work in the food industry over there?
Well, I did, because my partner had the restaurant. So at the beginning, I was just the running barefoot waitress in the beach restaurant for like 2 or 3 years.
Very cool, very cool. Now, I've got to ask, because, you know, you have to ask this one. Having spent 20 years in Italy, how do you think, you know, Italian restaurants this day and age in Australia stack up against, you know...
Unbelievable.
Yeah?
I mean, what's happened in the last 20 years while I've been gone is just unbelievable. And what's happened there is in 20 years is incredible as well, because when I got to the Amalfi Coast, you ate wonderful food if you went to someone's house, but it was always a bit dodgy in the restaurants. You know, it was a bit for the tourist. It just wasn't quite tweaked yet, and now it is impossible to have a bad meal there.
I like the sound of that.
And most Italian restaurants in Australia, I mean, brilliant. The competition's fierce.
It is fierce out there. Yeah, no, I do agree. Tell me this, because I'm a huge fan of Italian food, but what's your real love about it? You know, tell me what the passion is behind it.
I think the cleanliness and the fact that there's millions of ingredients and it's just so not busy, and you know, you just want a pasta with zucchini, you got pasta and zucchini, that's it.
Well,
there's not much else.
Well, look, I like that, because you're actually going to cook us. This is actually the dish you're going to cook. Have a bit of a look at this, guys.
Yeah.
This is the pasta with zucchini that you're going to make for us. Now, this is straight off the Amalfi Coast. This is something you'd be getting.
So traditional. This recipe was actually created on the Amalfi Coast in a tiny little town called Nerano, which is just up the road from
Say that one again?
Nerano.
Nerano. I like that. I have to say it with the hands just to really get the vibe going. Look, I can't thank you enough. I'm looking for... I'm going to be doing the tasting. I can guarantee you that of this dish. I can't wait. This book's out now. Make sure you grab it. The Amalfi Coast Recipes. Amanda Tabberer, thank you so much. Everyone give her a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Okay, Amanda Tabberer is here in the kitchen with us right now. Amanda, do you still spend a lot of time in the kitchen these days?
Loads of time. I've got to slowly work my way through the book and try as many recipes as possible. You know, I haven't done them all. I've done a lot, but not all of them.
Oh, of course, because you actually have to test all the recipes, everything like that.
They've been tested. They're absolutely kosher. Everything in my book is really perfectly done, those quantities, because, you know, Italians say a pinch of this and a handful of that. We can't write that in a cookbook. I had to get it all translated. You can, but not many happy campers out there.
I understand that. So, OK, we're making the zucchini pasta. This is actually from the book itself. What are we doing?
Zucchini pasta, like all wonderful Italian dishes, is just zucchini and pasta, but they've done it beautifully on the Amalfi Coast because the recipe is actually, it's been created there.
Yep.
It's basically a lot of zucchini. The trick with this recipe, which is my hairdresser's recipe, Rosetta D'Urso, who is a great hairdresser, but she's a fabulous cook. her version of this is a very special preparation of the zucchini, which is half fried, because most people just get them and fry the hell out of them to death.
Which I do like, by the way.
It's not bad. You've got to fry half of them. She admits that. The other half is just done with vapour, with your onions and a little bit of butter and olive oil.
OK.
These are just being deep-fried in a little bit of peanut oil.
Right.
So
Darren, do you like deep-fried zucchinis?
I love deep-fried zucchini.
Deep-fried zucchini.
Just like caramelised zucchini.
Someone's going to do this, OK?
Yeah.
So what you do, when you've done those, that takes about a half an hour to get them nice and golden when you've got your lovely peanut oil, frying those away. And these little babies that have been cooking with a bit of onion in a tiny bit of butter and extra virgin olive oil.
It smells fantastic.
It does smell really good, doesn't it?
It's a great smell.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel I've just got to run over like I normally do, just to get a little smell, because I always miss out over there.
Come on in. We're just going to pop those in there.
Oh, it really is great.
This is basically all you're doing. You mix up your zucchini. You don't mash them up too much, just a nice little mix. Then you add the other ingredients of this recipe. A little bit of salt.
A little bit of salt.
A tiny bit of salt. Then you add your cheese. You've got quite a bit, about 100 grams of salt. This is for 6 people, roughly. I think this particular dish we're doing is for about 3.
I think you could actually put in some more cheese. I wouldn't mind at all.
Optional, you can put more in, but probably at the end. You know how everyone loves to sprinkle a bit of cheese on it? Then you've got your thickened cream. Naughty.
Oh, beautiful.
No, there's
not
nothing
very
naughty
Southern
about
Italian, but strangely enough, it is from the South.
OK.
So then you mix all that together and you make like a bit of a glug. So it's like a bit of a warm glug, not too mixed, just tossed in. And then you've got your basil. Actually, use these. Don't cut it with a knife because it oxidises. You rip it with your fingers.
And Darren,
I put loads in.
Loads of basil?
Loads of basil.
Darren, is it ripping the basil that obviously releases the...
Yeah, it's just to activate it. I love to tear basil and mince.
Just tear it, they all...
Yeah, it does. It tends to oxidise incredibly quickly.
With the knife they oxidise. With your fingers it's just sort of... I never see the Italians chop any herbs. They're always with their fingers ripping things up.
OK.
And you can smell it already. This recipe, by the way, with a really big twist of black pepper on the top is so good.
When does the black pepper go in? At the end?
At the end, At the end. So you've got your pasta. Always take your pasta out 2 or 3 minutes before it says on the packet.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's got to be lovely and al dente.
Yes.
Al dente pasta is a lot more digestible than non-al dente pasta.
And it just tastes better as well. It's got that good texture.
So we're just going to plop that in on top.
Beautiful.
And before we start to stir it, this is the key to these dishes, a nice ladle full of that pasta water. OK, now tell, for the people at home, why are you putting in that scoop of water there at the end? Because that scoop of water actually helps amalgamate the pasta. I'm going to use these as well. I'll just pick up anything. Is that like the starches and whatever that were released by the pasta in the water? The starch of the pasta is released in the water, and it's like adding a little bit more cream, which is not terribly necessary with this recipe. Very often when you saute your pasta at the end with a sauce in it, you just add that 1 scoop of hot water and you toss it, and that will just make that creaminess happen. It's all about the cream. It is a good little tip. It's a creamy thing. A little tippy and a little creamy thing, and it's a very Italian pasta thing. Now, are we far... Because this looks like this is almost done. That's done. Darren, are you going to help plate up over there? I know, I'm Darren's going to plate up for us. Okay. Quite desperate over here for this pasta. It looks brilliant. Some of the goods. Yeah, lots of need the goods. And again, your black pepper, and if you want more parmesan. I think more parmesan. Look, I don't think that it should be us alone that's tasting it. Rebecca, why don't you jump in as well? Because I saw you kind of salivating over there at the side. Here's another plate. OK, we're going to share this one. Hello, Amanda. Amanda, Rebecca. Buongiorno, Rebecca. Look at that. Smells good. Look at that, everyone. So simple. And this is what I love about Italian food. 2, 3 ingredients, and that's it. But the ingredients are the best of quality, and that makes all the difference. That's right. Yep. And it's also the way they just amalgamate it and put it together, which is really important. Twist of black pepper for Rebecca. And for me. And for you. I'll do both, yes. Do I have that one now? Here we go. Great. There's some black pepper there. Beautiful. Awesome. OK. We're going to eat it out of the bowl. Let's go. Amanda, thank you so much. Make some noise. This looks awesome. I'm so happy.